Hi everyone, how's everyone doing here today? Thank you for watching, and I wanted to talk about a few things going on. Not too long ago, I put out a video on, bad media, mainly the mainstream media, because as some have pointed out, they tend to be, they don't fairly report the news, or they don't do a good job at fact-checking, or they tend to overlook certain things which, to me, are more essential and should be talked about. Specifically, the way at one point they were being unfairly treated towards Joe Biden and just pretty much rating Don on a curve, who at this point continues to just lie his freaking ass off. I mean, I'll get to the Trump-Elon Musk interview, which that was a total clusterfuck. And, the bottom line is, I really haven't been watching mainstream media in quite some time. Every now and then I catch a snippet or two. I watch a lot more independent media because it's not as filtered. It's not controlled by big corporate donors or anything like that. And also political comedians and stuff, they don't tolerate BS. So when Donald Trump goes out there and pretty much lies his ass off, they call him out on it and call him out for the liar that he is. When he does more and more corrupt things or proposes more and more things that are harmful to the American people, they call him out on that. They call him out on his BS, which I think we should do more. And I'm not saying every single mainstream media is like that. There are some that do a good job. Like recently I saw Joe Scarborough on ABC calling on some of the things. But it's not as consistent as I think it should be. And forget about Fox, that's just a lot of BS propaganda. They will do what they got to do, consistently make excuses. And the way they've been criticizing Kamala Harris is pretty amazing because it's all projection. All the things they talk about, the lies, the corruption, the alleged corruption, and the lack of popularity, they're pretty much talking about Trump. They're pretty much talking about him and J.D. Vance. So whether you choose to watch it, that's up to you. I'm not telling you what you should and shouldn't watch. I'm just putting it out there because in the end, with the up-and-coming election, I'll admit, when Joe Biden was still on the ticket, I was a little concerned. I was putting out messages saying, hey, I'm still on course because I don't want to see a lunatic go back into the White House. Yes, talking about Trump. It was looking pretty bad. His poll numbers weren't doing so well. His popularity, people didn't really want to talk about him. And overall, it just wasn't looking good. But again, I still said I'm staying on course because in the end, if things go bad, I want to at least be able to say I did what I could to try and avoid this, to try and make it right, to encourage other people to do that. Now Kamala Harris, and it's been a total 180. Her poll numbers are up, including Waltz. J.D. Vance his popularity or approval is in the negatives, something like that. Okay? They bring a lot more energy to the table, and unlike her, she's considerably younger than Trump, and she is razor sharp, and she's a prosecutor, pretty much going up against a criminal former president, who he now is the old man who is showing cognitive decline, who he doesn't have a clear message. Fox likes to say Kamala doesn't have a message. Oh, absolutely, she does, and that's pretty much we're not going back because that's what Trump and Project 2025 want to do. They want to undo a lot of regulations and stuff. They want to pretty much continue to strip away rights from women, LGBTQs, and other marginalized groups. And they pretty much want to ensure more and more power to the president, that would be Trump, so that he can pretty much do whatever he wants with no checks and balance, no restrictions, and no accountability. In other words, turn our democracy into a fascism-like state, which, no, the majority of America doesn't want that. So, moving forward, putting the media aside, we have a responsibility. Some of you may see it as a choice. I see it as a responsibility to not just vote, but to get more involved, which is why the message I've been trying to put out. A while back, I did a small group of videos talking about ways you can do more as far as volunteer work, like canvassing, phone banking, writing letters and postcards to swing voters, texting, and that's what I've been pretty much doing. Minus the texting part, I've been doing some local canvassing in my area for some of the smaller elections going on, not just the presidency. I've been phone banking for Harris's campaign and others involved on the Democratic ticket, and also trying to do what I can to keep certain others like Kari Lake from getting into Congress, and also weeding out some of the MAGA. It's because, like I said, it's not just about Harris and Trump. It is about a race against good and evil. It's not just about Kamala Harris winning, because what Trump is trying to do is, Bernie Sanders pointed this out, and so did Scarborough, is pretty much have people lose faith in voter integrity by continuing spreading lies, and more importantly, losing faith in institutions. Things like he wants to do away with it. Like one thing Donald Trump wants to say is do away with the Department of Education. Leave it up to the states. Well, he's taking the same stance on abortion. I wonder why. Because he's losing on that ticket. So, our job is not just to get Kamala Harris to win, but to increase the margin. It's still kind of a tight race, even though she's more ahead in the poll numbers. I'm not that big into polls, but that's a whole nother discussion. But what I am big into is to increase voter turnout. And the way to do that is to get more and more people involved, and not just do the bare minimum and just vote once every 4 years, but also vote in the local elections. We got to get rid of like the Marjorie Taylor Greens, the Boberts, the Jim Jordans, the Josh Hawleys, because these are people that are not on board for the United States. They want to cater up to a dictator and fascism. Well, that's where we come in. So I'll start putting out these videos, and like I said, when I do phone banking, when I talk to voters, I ask them, like, are there ways would you like to get more involved, like volunteer and stuff? Some of them actually do say yes. A lot of them say no, and like I said, this isn't me putting pressure on anyone. When I talk to them, they say, like, they have families, or they're too busy working and stuff. Guess what? I don't have kids, but I have a full-time job. I do caregiving. I do weekend work on the side, and yet somehow I managed to find time to do volunteer work, whether it be phone banking, canvassing. There are other ways you can do it that aren't as time-consuming and that aren't always by a set schedule, like doing letters to swing voters or postcards that you can do in your own free time in between. I like to do it during lunch breaks or when I'm commuting. And like I said, when the people say no, I don't put pressure on. I say, I understand, I just do at least have to ask because I like to put it out there. And just get the message out, get more and more people on board. The more voters we reach out to, the more efforts that we make, not just voting once every 4 years or just voting in local elections. I make donations to other campaigns to strengthen their chances against certain MAGA opponents. Okay? And if you can do that, volunteer, that's fine. If you're too busy and you can't, all you can do is just donate, that's fine too. Every little effort counts. Never think for 1 second that the smallest of efforts won't make the shred of difference. Maybe on a small scale, yeah, but collectively, if across the nation more and more people get more involved, whether it be donating or phone banking or canvassing or sending out letters, we can help make a difference. It's not just helping Kamala Harris win the presidency, it's helping her win by a greater margin and weeding out some of the other, MAGA cancer that we got currently in Congress, and also keeping new MAGA members out. This way, the Democrats hold a greater majority in both the Senate and the House. Because the one thing, say what you will about Biden, in spite of his age, in spite of his, how his health might be doing or his condition, in his 4 years, he was still able to get things done in spite of some of the resistance. So imagine if Kamala Harris, who doesn't have any of that baggage, and is fully on board to go full steam ahead and pass legislation to help the working class, unlike Trump and the MAGA crowd, who just want to lean us towards fascism. Imagine what she could do if she had the majority. See? A bee just went by once to get involved. But joking aside, that's the message I'm putting out here. Watch what whatever media you want, but I like to focus on independent media because it's less filtered. But more importantly, I like to do what I can, because in the end, when we win, we can say collectively, we helped make this happen. This is our victory. And if we don't win, I can at least turn around and say, you know what? I did everything I could to prevent this from happening. I did everything I could to stand up to Trump and MAGA. I did everything I could to get the right person in charge to help the American people, because I care about people. I care about America. I'm not just in it to win. I'm not just in this for myself, my local community or state. I'm in it for the country on a whole, up to and including red states. I've said that before, but I can't say it enough, because I know there are just some trolls out there who are or cult members that just don't want to hear that. We just say like, oh, you're the enemy because you're against Trump. No, I'm against Trump because I'm on the right side, because he has a lot of bad things in mind, which I'll say for a later time. We've been seeing it, things that he said in recent interviews, and just lying through his teeth, making stuff up about Kamala Harris, crowds being AI and stuff. How he was in a helicopter crash with the former mayor, I'm blanking on his name, who dated Kamala, and that supposedly got some dirt on her. That turned out to be not true. To other things that he's making up, like about late-term abortions. We know that's a lie. And everything else, okay? He's got no policies. He's got no plan. He's got no agenda. He just wants to win the presidency so he can get himself out of all his legal troubles and just keep himself in power for life and do harmful things. We've seen proof of that in his past administration. So moving forward, it's our responsibility to, stand together united and help one another, okay? Because it's not just all about the politicians. We have a choice to get more involved, so I'm encouraging you to do that. So anyway, thank you for watching. I really hope you understand.